We live on the north coast. I can see the beach right on a hill.
Yeah, and the water levels I heard got really...
Well, the water levels in our area were fine.
Okay, that's
It
good.
was more so the wind.
Okay.
The wind is the danger when you don't have anything to block you from the wind.
Okay.
No mountains, no other houses,
Okay.
no trees. You're there. And so the neighbor behind our house had reception and was able to send my sister, who was in Kingston, who had reception in Kingston, a video of half of her roof gone. And my dad, they're in the house.
Oh my gosh.
And you see the flashlight walking through the house, and she's like sending my sister a message like, tell your dad to just find a corner and stay in that corner. He can't be walking around in the house with the flashlight. Because now we're cut off. We don't know. No conversations. They're doing dangerous stuff. They're living dangerously in the house. But then if you're there, you only know what's around you. Okay, that tree's down, this tree's down, but we were over consuming the content. We see, oh, is that Runaway Bay? Oh my gosh, I remember that place. I want to suggest people put some self-containment boundaries around the content consumption. You don't need to watch all the disaster videos. By the end of the week, we were depressed.
Hi everyone, and we're back with another Sandwich Years. And for those of you who are watching this podcast for the very first time, just wanted to let you know what the Sandwich Years is about. It's about taking care of the top bun, which could be your parents, could be aunts, uncles, could be an older sibling, and then also taking care of the bottom bun, which is your kids, could be nieces, nephews, it could be any sorts of youth or someone younger than you that's dependent on you. Also, we're throwing in fur babies because everyone knows you can't leave a fur baby home when you go on vacation. And so that they are dependent on you as well. And so what we call that is the Sandwich Years, and what you are squeezed and blessed. And so what we talk about here is taking care of the top bun, the bottom bun, and then also self-care, because that is very, very important. So today, my guest, I have a friend here, and her name is Kristina. And so, Kristina, if you can tell everybody who you are and what you do.
Absolutely. So before I go into who I am, I have some gratitude to express and a confession.
Uh-oh.
So
hold on. And I don't know. When we have these discussions, I really don't know what's coming out of the mouth.
It'll be okay.
So,
It'll be okay.
are you sure?
It'll be okay.
Okay, go ahead.
These are my confessions. It'll be okay. Right? So first of all, this platform that you have and this message that you're sharing, I think, is so important and so validating for me, especially for the year that I just had behind the scenes, behind cameras. So validating to understand that, okay, this is a thing. And now that there's awareness, I can talk about it. I can know what to look for. So important. So thank you for having me. Thank you for meeting me. And happy to be here to have this conversation, because when I decided to move to Canada, this wasn't one of those things that you don't know that you don't know.
Oh. And it's funny because as much as we could read books and all this stuff to predict, you don't know what you don't know until you step in it and you're like, what the heck?
Yeah.
And so, yes. Okay. So I thank you for thanking me, but thank you for sharing your story today. So
absolutely.
That's number one confession.
Ready for the confession? Don't worry, it's fine. My confession is that this experience of being in the Sandwich Years, a Sandwich Yearer, challenges my decision to stay in Canada.
Really?
Which is funny because what I do is talk about Canadian immigration an awful lot. And, you know, I support that immigrant population through my own platform as well, where I talk to immigrants, hear the immigrant journey. And it's not about me. It challenging my decision isn't about Canada. It's just about the Sandwich Years, that life that you're living now, where you have the top part of your bun is long distance.
Yes. And
right?
so for some of you who don't know, can you give everyone a gist of that top bun and what they're doing? They're a fun top bun, and I'm excited to hear all this story.
I know.
Let's talk about this top bun now.
So top bun. So I'm blessed to have both of my parents in their late 60s, alive and well.
Okay.
Right? Now they live in Jamaica. I'm from Jamaica. And I think what I'm grateful for, again, is the timing of this conversation is now post Hurricane Melissa. Right? I think when I reached out, it was just like, okay, it's one thing to be a Sandwich Yearer. Next level is Hurricane
national disaster.
Disasters.
And then all of a sudden things shut down and you can't hear from them.
You
Like I
can't
have
hear
other
from them.
Jamaican friends that are like, I can't hear from my parents. They're not calling me.
Yes.
And so
And you're trying to parent them from a distance, right?
I like the word parent.
Yeah.
Remember, they're your parent, eh? No. Okay. So go ahead.
This never feel like they were my parents. So they're my parents, but you are you care for them in a different way than they care. It's just different. And you're like, I don't want you to be in that house for the hurricane. Can you please not be there? No, I have to stay here in case anything happened. And then what? You're gonna put on your superhero cape and fix the roof?
Oh gosh.
Right? It's like, what are you gonna do if something happens? So it's like,
But it's their thing, right? And it's their, how do I say, their livelihood. It's their home.
but that's what makes it difficult for me.
Yeah.
In the middle, is that I'm here having to, like, if I could have, I probably would have gone on a plane and just rode out the hurricane with them, right? But as you're in the middle, you want everybody to be okay. You're trying to give them what you believe is sound advice, and they are just not. It's just not happening. Stubborn, and Caribbean parents.
Oh,
right?
Are we going to talk about Caribbean? I think, well, how do we, instead of saying Caribbean, I would say all parents are pretty stubborn.
Okay.
And they have their own ways.
Fair.
For sure. Now, do all cultures have their nuances? Yes. And West Indians have their nuances. And I think all cultures do. And I think every time I have different conversations with people, we find out cultural differences and just not even cultural things that we're just like, oh my gosh, that's the challenge right now. So, okay, so let's dissect this. Do you want to tell our reality before the hurricane, or do we want to talk about our reality right now?
We can tell the reality before, because
Okay.
I said, like, it was timely because of the year I just had. So the year I just had is before Melissa, right?
Okay.
So at the end of last year, my parents are now having some health challenges.
Okay.
And they both decide to have them at the same time.
Oh, it's not, you said they decided, right? Because I don't know if medically they
I
decided that. Are we allowed to share what they have, or?
So my dad was diagnosed with stage 1 prostate cancer,
Okay.
and mom had kidney stone issues.
Okay.
And so all of this was happening at the same time. And for treatment in Jamaica, it would be radiation therapy because it's stage 1. So thank God, I'm blessed. I'm grateful.
And they're fairly young, which is like when you find it early. So my dad had prostate cancer as well. And when you find it early,
It's good.
It's good.
Yes.
When you find it later, which my father did, it's just a matter of, and he was older. So your parents are fairly young.
Yes.
They're fairly young.
Yes.
I'm getting bonus points from your parents, by the way.
Well, I have a bone to pick with this fairly young part. But
Okay.
it'll come down later on. It'll come down.
Okay.
And so for treatment, it was 8 weeks of treatment.
In Jamaica?
In Jamaica.
Okay.
At a facility that's an hour and a half away from where we live.
Oh.
Which means for 8 weeks, it's driving there and back, which is a 3-hour drive total.
Oh, wow.
And my dad, sometimes we're concerned for how he likes to fall asleep sometimes, and we don't want him to fall asleep at the wheel. So we're like, can you just go stay in that city? Nope. He don't want to talk about stubborn, right? So now is where it comes to me now to question. I do have an older sister.
Okay, that lives here in Jamaica.
She lives in Jamaica.
Okay.
Right? So we're blessed in that way. She doesn't have children. So she doesn't have that sandwich year experience necessarily.
She's just still, though, dealing with their nuances on a one-to-one daily basis.
Yes. So she's a different experience because I left home 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Right?
And so, I mean, as much as you're thinking they're stubborn, I think she's going to probably be like 10 times more.
Yes.
Because I'm sure she says things over and over again.
Absolutely. She wins. Okay. She gets the prize.
She gets the prize for that.
She knows my parents in a different capacity than I do. So it's just this. So this year I've spent a little over 2 months in Jamaica.
Okay.
Having to deal with this. And so my bottom bun, I had to compromise to some extent. Thank God, she has a supportive dad, her grandma, all that stuff is here to help to support that phase. But I had to I have a relatively, I wouldn't say flexible, but I was the most available to be able to go and help with some of the driving back and forth because he didn't want to go and stay in the city closer to the treatment center.
Okay. Now, down there, don't they have drivers or anything like that? He didn't want to do it either. And so that's the other piece. Like, there are support systems set up, but sometimes our parents don't want to take those.
Yes, but we have a lot of things available to us here in Canada.
That's not there.
That's not it's not there, but just the availability, accessibility. So we were looking into drivers, right? And what it would have cost is like 10 times the cost of a plane ticket. Yep. Give me the money. I'll drive you.
No, but that is something you have to look at, right? Like, because you're sort of sitting there going, and to be quite honest, when you are far away from your parents in that sort of capacity and you know they need you, there's a level of guilt that also weighs on the bill of how much it costs. So will you pay the money? 100%. But is it better if you were there? Probably better.
And I felt a lot more comfortable being there. And this is where the strain came in, is like, Canada, should we be here right now? You know, not only because you don't have to think about just this moment. You have to think about, okay, he's going to get better, but he's also getting older. Both of them are getting older, you know, and so what happens next year and the next year and the next year. And in fact, while I was here, just when I became a permanent resident, my grandfather, my last living grandparent, passed away. And in that moment, I questioned Canada. I was like, I don't know. Because
you did you get to go for the funeral and stuff?
I did get to go for the funeral. I actually was there the week before he died.
So you were able to kind of see him.
I was, but I think that, so this is another thing about being away from them for so long, is that you, in your mind, not a lot of time is passing, but it's almost like daylight savings, right? It's like...
Wait. What do you mean it's like that? Tell me how it's like daylight savings.
So daylight savings, today, it gradually gets darker. But because they changed the time, tomorrow, all of a sudden, it's like, boom, dark. And you don't expect it.
Okay.
So now being away, I'm seeing them every year, once a year, and I'm seeing things, what I believe is gradual in terms of their aging. But then I go, and they're just so much older. And so much frailer and so much different than I remember. And so that my mind doesn't get to catch up. So even though I was there with my grandfather the week before, I wasn't there because I was expecting him to die.
Yeah.
You know, even though the situation...
It wasn't a visit like that.
It wasn't. And I was like, I'll see you in Christmas. Be here.
Don't move. Right? And he's like... Okay.
And the following he passed.
Oh, but at least you had a moment with him.
I did.
And so, I mean, I think this Sandwich Years is really about loving someone from afar, loving your whole family from afar. And then you have a bottom bun.
I do.
You said your bottom bun, like, tell everybody you're...
So I have a beautiful little girl. She's 5, 5.5. Don't get it twisted.
Don't get it twisted.
Okay, 5.5. And the blessed part of even my story too is that when she was born in the middle of the pandemic.
Okay.
So at a time when only one person was allowed at the hospital.
Okay.
So my mom was visiting here with me to help me anticipate her arrival, but she couldn't come to the hospital with me
because your husband was there.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she was born in the pandemic, and I had my mom with me for her first 2.5 years.
Nice.
So I'm blessed.
She was here for 2.5 years?
We left. I'm not gonna lie. We left Canada.
Oh, you went back to Jamaica?
We went back to Jamaica during the pandemic, not for 2.5 years, but we were in the pandemic. My mom had been denied entry when she was just trying to come. We got her to stay, but to try and extend the stay during the pandemic, we were like, we're not paying $4,000 again to a lawyer to try to figure that out. We're leaving.
Yeah.
And so I traveled to Jamaica for a little while. And so for that time, whether I was here or there, back and forth, my mom was with me.
Yeah, and that's another important piece
super
of being in the Sandwich Years too, the blessed side. Like, I mean, there's a dependent on you and someone who knows how to deal because they raised you.
Yep.
And so, I mean, so the good thing is you were able to kind of make everything work.
Yes.
And so that's lovely. So you have a bottom bun, fairly young, so still needs you.
Absolutely.
And so going to Jamaica for 2 months to take care of your dad, your heart is now pulled on the other side.
It is. It wasn't 2 months straight. I had to break it up.
Oh, okay.
My in a perfect world, my dad wanted me to be there for 6 months. And I'm like, we are going to come and go.
Daddy's like, you're my little girl. You got to take care of me.
Yep.
My dad put his hands up in the air and was just like, doctors would ask him questions. And he'd be like, just call my daughter.
Yeah.
Just call my daughter, to the point where I'm like, I don't know if he got a shot. Like, how am I supposed to know these things?
Yeah.
And so it sounds like your daddy was like my daddy.
Yeah.
Or your daddy is like my dad.
After the hurricane, so this is pre-hurricane. That's all that is pre-hurricane. He wanted me to come, be there for 6 months, deal with stuff. And because I guess now he has this health scare, I suppose, he's like, oh, we need to put things in place. You know, you need to come and help me to put things in place. So now the hurricane, it comes, and it was very scary. Because of the lack of communication, the lack of the ability to communicate. In fact, for some reason, the person who lives behind us, they had internet. They had reception on their phone through the hurricane.
Okay, so wait, let's. I want everybody to be on the same page here. So the Caribbean normally gets hit with a whole bunch of hurricanes, and you've been through a bunch of them. When you lived there, when you were younger, or no?
Jamaica has always been spared.
Okay. Well, and this is a good nuance that not everybody knows, because I would sit there. A lot of people would assume that they're getting hit again, the Caribbean. The Caribbean getting hit again.
But last year we got one.
Okay.
But it was like, it grazed the bottom of the island.
Okay.
So bad, but not not going through the island.
Okay.
The last time we had a direct impact was 1989 or 88.
And you were here or there?
I was not born.
Okay. Telling age. So.
I was not born. My sister was born the following year. So, yeah, that's the last time we got a direct impact.
Okay.
The closest to that was Hurricane Ivan in 2005. And that's the only one that I've experienced to any great extent. And it still wasn't that bad.
Okay.
So this has been the worst in the history of the Caribbean.
Okay.
Right? And
for Jamaica.
For the Caribbean, this has been the worst hurricane to make landfall.
Okay.
Right? But definitely for Jamaica as well.
Okay.
And so, you know, and at this point, the house is a little bit older, time has passed, right? And so you don't really know what's going to happen, but you know that the wind, we live on the North Coast. I can see the beach, right, on a hill. Okay?
Yeah, and the water levels, I heard, got really...
Well, the water levels in our area were fine.
Okay, that's
It
good.
was more so the wind.
Okay.
The wind is the danger when you don't have anything to block you from the wind.
Okay.
No mountains, no other houses,
Okay.
no trees. You're there, right? And so the neighbor behind our house had reception and was able to send my sister, who was in Kingston, who had reception in Kingston, a video of half of our roof gone. And my dad, they're in the house.
Oh my gosh.
And you see the flashlight walking through the house, and she's like sending my sister a message like, tell your dad to just find a corner and stay in that corner. He can't be walking around in the house with the flashlight. And I'm in Canada, so we had a different experience of this hurricane. We had the hurricane too, but in a different way.
Yeah.
Because now we're cut off. We don't know. No conversations. They're doing dangerous stuff. They're living dangerously in the house.
And these are your parents living dangerously.
Right.
I might have to play that song. But go okay, so...
Right? Me and my sister make jokes like, what did the children do this time? Right? And
Is that how you just talk?
That's how we talk.
And so going through the sandwich years, I'm going to be honest, when you have a sibling, you're lucky because they can actually... You can actually have that...
I'm so grateful.
That laughter, that kind of like almost like... What's going on? Like, at least you're not sitting in there in your head going, am I going crazy, or are they acting like odd? Like, this doesn't make sense. And so luckily I have siblings as well, and a lot of the times we were chuckling. And another guest on, he was talking about him and his brother, and they had, but siblings helpful. And so ideally, if you could have a great relationship, share the load.
Yep.
Figure out how you can help away versus her being there and knowing she has the lion's share of dealing with them.
Yes.
Sending them here, figuring out what... Exactly. Like, those are the ways you get through it now.
Exactly. So my dad's here right now.
So
he's visiting with me.
Post hurricane, and I know, and I have to thank you for all your efforts, because if you don't know, she got a bunch of barrels. Like, tell everyone what you did to help support people in Jamaica.
Absolutely. So together with the Jamaican consulate, I was coordinating as one of the locations in the Durham region to collect donation things for people back in Jamaica. And so we got a bunch of stuff at 2 locations in Jamaica, and then I was the coordination behind getting the truck packed to the JCA and all of that stuff, which was its own thing. but worth it 100%. We filled a whole truck with non-perishable foods, clothes, different things that people need. Brought it over to the Jamaica Canadian Association over in North York, and they got it shipped off to Jamaica.
So thank you for that.
Absolutely.
Like, I mean, rallying the community, trying to figure out how we can help. I think that was a lot of what a lot of us did.
Yeah.
Whether you were Jamaican or not, to sort of sit there and go, hey, we can't leave our family and friends. We got to send stuff. So thank you for doing that.
Absolutely.
So you rally all that. And then how did Dad end up here? So Dad is here right now.
Dad is here right now.
In the snow.
And you know what? He's been outside a total of 2 times. This is another experience that I'm having now because like you said, my sister carried the lion's share of the load. So now having him here, it's like, okay, the script is reversed, except I'm a sandwich error. And I have a different perspective on my parents now having had a child. My sister is still, headstrong in a beautiful way, but we, in trying to figure out what's next, but also in consideration for his health right now, we're having to watch his blood sugar and such, and how he was managing it. He doesn't verbalize a lot, so just in terms of how he's managing it, how are we going to deal with some of the health challenges that he continues to have, and while we figure out what to do about the roof.
So right now the house is not livable.
No.
And so it was in your best interest to get him out of the house over here, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then Mom's down there.
So yes, so we are blessed again to have a number of family homes in the area. So it's not necessarily that he has nowhere to go. It was more so like sharing the load with my sister, but also and his health concerns.
So it's best for him to be up here,
yes,
and so that you can help.
Yes.
And then your sister can keep an eye on Mom down there.
And we can figure out the property damage and such like that.
Okay. And that is the reality for a lot of Jamaicans right now.
Yep.
Who potentially have family in Jamaica who are trying to figure out how do they...
What next?
Yeah. And so, I mean, any advice you have for people in the sandwich years similar to you?
Prayer. Lots of prayer.
You say I'm laughing, but
prayer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Faith.
And faith, right? And like you said, me having my sister is extremely, extremely helpful because whenever one of the children misbehave, we could just call each other,
and children, AKA, if you just...
Or parents. Parenting our parents. Whenever, we have to, figure something out, we can do it together. It doesn't have to fall on one person. But when I said earlier about my confession about this challenging me being Canada, one of the things that is very helpful to me and the things that I talk to with the immigrant community is that community is so important. Okay. So yes, I have my sister. She's my virtual community because she's not here, but here I have strong relationships with people in my church community who are able to pray with us throughout the whole hurricane. I did a presentation at church, just updating people like, this is what's happening, this is how you can give. But then I can also sit in somebody's living room and say this and this. I don't know how to explain what's happening because I didn't experience a hurricane, but it feels like there was a hurricane outside. And I'm not coping well because what happened, this happened to a bunch of us abroad. So I have an uncle in New York, my dad's brother, and we were calling each other like, did you hear from them? Did you hear from them? We watched a lot of the footage of the hurricane after the hurricane.
Okay.
And I feel like that's a little bit, not necessarily worse than the people who experienced it, but the people who experience it are isolated to what's happening around them. They're not seeing everything. And we opened ourselves up to everything.
So the exposure to it. It's kind of traumatizing a bit because you're sort of sitting there going, oh my gosh, that's my country, that's my place.
Yeah.
That's what I saw before.
Yeah, and we're seeing all of everything. And we see, oh, is that Runaway Bay? Oh my gosh, I remember that place, right? And
so imagine if you were there too. Exactly.
But then if you're there, you only know what's around you. Okay, that tree's down, this tree's down, but we were over consuming the content, which I want to suggest people put some self-containment boundaries around the content consumption, even though it's off the hurricane and you want to know how you can give, you don't need to watch all the disaster videos. Because then by the end of the week, we were depressed.
Yeah.
And so then I had to lean on my community it was not just about Jamaica, but at this point, I haven't heard from
Yeah.
I haven't heard from my dad. I can communicate with my sister, but not when she's with them. And so by Sunday, I was sad and I had a little cry. And thankfully, the community, my church community, was there to kind of just be like, yeah, we know it's tough, like, is there whatever we can do. Some Jamaicans are in my church as well. So community is one of the biggest coping mechanisms, I think, for any challenging phase in life, really.
Yeah. Yeah. And the community, you can find it in various places. I think you hit it, like church. You can find people who are similar to you. You can find people who are different, who just want to help. But community is definitely it. So you were saying, my question to you, so we didn't talk about the bottom bun. And I think when you have bottom bun, less than 5, she's in maybe, 5.5. She's in kindergarten, grade 1.
She's in SK.
SK. Okay, so dropping off, picking up, because she can't drive.
Yes.
Although you're 5.5.
Yes.
You can't drive. And so doing the drop off, pickup, she's done any activities and all that.
I'm so grateful and blessed. And if I don't say it enough, her dad is a taekwondo instructor.
Very cool.
And he does all the pickups.
Okay.
And that makes me very happy because 2:30 is a weird time. All y'all school people, 2:30, I don't know what that is. I would struggle. Because that's the middle of my day. That's probably when I'm getting my most productive. So thankfully, based on how he has it, it's a taekwondo and after school program.
Awesome.
So then he's able to pick up. He does pick up for other kids as well. She goes to the taekwondo after school program. She's in taekwondo. She's actually about to start gymnastics. So that's where my schedule is going to get a little bit squeezed. So the squeeze is on her part is the scheduling and picking up, but also helping her to stay connected to my parents, keeping the bonds connected.
So like, know? I mean, she's 5.5. Is she used to seeing grandma and grandpa on the screen?
Thankfully for her, for the first little while, we had my mom and my dad for the time when we were in Jamaica.
Yes.
Then we came here. So for the most part, yes, it's to the screen, but we go to Jamaica at least once a year.
Okay, awesome.
Or they come here.
Awesome.
So that's definitely helpful. So we're trying to keep it together there. But
and as I said, I keep saying they're fairly young, but they try to participate, obviously, in her and like watch her stuff. Do like
my dad. My dad is her biggest fan.
Okay, yeah, which is typical fashion of a grandparent. And while I say I can't wait, I can, but I can't wait for that moment where you can be their number one fan.
Yes.
And so you got the number one fan. You got he's here, which is wonderful.
Yes.
And so I think one of the things you said as well, other parents, sibling, like her dad is doing a lion's share.
Yes.
And so sharing the
support
care
is important.
Yeah.
And his mom too.
And so sharing the care.
So he and I are sandwich years trying to parent our parents and our kid.
And then you also have your in-law as well, right?
Yeah.
And so it's a lot.
Yeah.
And I thank you for sharing your story, but I think also what you're also saying is community, this show also helps you because you actually hear other stories and sit there and feel like you're not alone. Because you're not.
You're not alone.
You're not alone. So, I mean, lots of different nuances.
Yes. And I think what was important for me too in capturing and sharing the immigrant story is understanding that this is part of it. When I left home, I was 21. I was unencumbered, okay? I didn't have to worry about nobody but myself.
Yeah.
And then I didn't think about, yes, you think about wanting to have a family one day, but you don't think about this experience of having your own family and then having your family. And as they get older, you're kind of missing out on years. This is where the challenging my Canadian immigration, my existence right now in Canada gets challenged. Because it's like I feel like I'm missing out a little bit, and
there's guilt, is there not?
I don't know if I feel guilty, because they could have been in Canada too if they wanted to. They're just not.
But would they really want to stay here?
No,
Probably
because
not.
when I brought my mom back here after COVID, she didn't do well here.
Yeah,
and she had to leave. I guess I didn't talk about this part, but I had to send her back home, and I had to leave corporate. I left the corporate world because my little girl was 2. She wasn't even 2 yet.
Yeah, the juggle.
It was difficult. And now at this point, we don't really have the village. And I think that's a lot of people leave Canada for different reasons. Nobody really talks about this one, whereas that you're here, you have a little family now, but then you don't have the village. You don't have your parents, so you can just drop them off or have help picking up. This is where my church community comes in handy. That's why I haven't left yet.
So the support isn't family necessarily, but it is you started your own village.
Yeah.
And that's the other piece is you're gonna find, it might be that your daughter calls someone else grandma. It's not really their grandma, but it's someone else.
Yes.
And so you have to create your own village, but questioning your existence in a certain location is probably heavier than guilt.
Yeah.
It's the right decision for you is kind of what you're sort of saying.
Yeah, it's just the right decision, the right timing. And then the dominoes that fall after you make this one decision is the next,
Oh my. Okay. So any lasting tips for that immigrant who's got their family, and I wouldn't say their full family, got some part of their bun in another country. Any advice for them to kind of stay connected or just to exist?
Well, I think just having this conversation and being aware of it is so validating. I felt so validating when I met you because I'm like, oh man, I had a year. but then definitely the community piece. And I think that one thing that when we come here, we kind of stick to ourselves, stick to our own or whatever, but you have to get out. And that in adults, nobody tells us how to make friends as adults. But you got to go. If his faith is the thing, something, find community, but also faith, like God, at the end of the day, ours will go away, friends, community. But if you're a believer, then definitely relying on God and just remembering to just keep your eyes on him when things get tough. And your platform, you promotes the different things that can then support them. And I know that in Canada, we have access to different things, but then thinking about maybe adopting some of those things in our countries, maybe a personal support worker of the sorts or a helper can help to manage the burden in the mental sense, where that there's somebody going in and checking in or cleaning or whatever. It's don't just think that those things should only exist here. If they cost a little bit more or if there's some way to do it in a cost-effective way, see what works in the environment that you exist because you're promoting the different things and what can you adopt there for lack of being able to bring them here, because then that's a whole nother topic.
So I think you hit it. You said faith, and I mean in whatever religion you believe in, keep your beliefs close because that's actually going to give you a little bit of longevity. Friends, yes, they come and go. And I mean, friendships too, you don't need a best friend. You need a community, someone that you can rely on and make your best judgment on those sorts of things. Getting out socially sometimes. You said it. You stay home. Come out socially.
Yeah.
You'll realize that you're not alone.
Yes.
And then lastly, look for support.
Yes. And the biggest thing too, self-compassion. I think we expect a lot more of ourselves than we probably can do in that moment, given the situation. We want to do everything, be everything, and we can't. So some self-compassion to understand that this is where we are. I can't just uproot and move back to Jamaica right now. Yeah. It doesn't really work.
Well, and that's exactly you want to go, but actually parts of you are like, I don't think I'm done here yet.
Yeah, I don't know that I want to go. It's not even that. It's just feeling that need to be around my parents more because they're getting older, have my daughter around her more. So in a perfect world, we'll just all be in the same place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whether it's here or there, whatever. But my dad's only been outside 2 times since he's been in Canada right now. And he's been here for 2 weeks. So
outside 2 out of 2 weeks, that's not a bad percentage. But to be quite honest, if I could stay home, okay, let's not go there. But because cold is cold.
I know.
Especially when you're coming from Jamaica.
I know.
So I don't
this is his first
question
winter
him.
In 50 years probably.
I don't question him.
Yeah.
So as we digress, as you can see, me and you, Dad, I would stay home if I could. But yeah, you're gonna you got your hands full a bit still in the sandwich years, and we appreciate you coming to tell your story. I have a feeling you'll be back because we want to hear more about how his stay was, and when we bring mom here,
yes,
and then also when we go back, and also how Jamaica's doing after this devastation.
Absolutely.
So I mean, roofs are all off. We got to get roofs back on. We got to get everything back to the norm again if we can.
Yeah, well, it's going to be a new normal, honestly. Because the trauma, you don't get rid of that.
No.
It doesn't go anywhere.
Not at all.
Yeah.
So thank you, Kristina.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you all. So if you have any comments, please put it in the comment section, as well as you can email us and let us know you want her back or any of our guests. Happy to have them back again.
Yeah.
Thank
or
you.
if you have any questions.
Yes.
For anything that I brought
questions.
up that I didn't talk about.
Oh, yes. Please definitely
Like when
do
I
that.
left corporate.
Oh, we'll talk about that in another episode.
Cliffhanger. Come back.
Take care.